Greetings and welcome to episode 59 of my Empire Total War Darth mod Russia campaign. And this, my friends, we left it last time. And if we remember last time, my friends, we were trying to carve out our own sort of footprint within the New World. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes here, but trying to carve out a small enclave here, a small Russian enclave, trying to get ourselves that foothold within the New World, within that sort of wonderful sort of availability here of massive amounts of resources. We need the piece of that pie, we really do. Now remember, our empire stretches all the way from the north and the Baltic all the way down to the Mediterranean into the Middle East. We've got a massive empire here, but even with that sort of extent of an empire, we still are finding ourselves not struggling for money, that would be the wrong term to use, but we haven't got the income that we really sort of the empire of our size really should or has deemed fit to have at the moment. So we really have to try and expand here as quickly as we can, but also not to sort of step on anybody's toes. There's still a number of very powerful nations, particularly Spain, as Britain, as France as well here as well. So remember, we have to be very well. France are actually gone, I beg your pardon, my friends, but particularly Spain and particularly Britain as well. We have to be very careful what we're doing here. We don't want to sort of start any additional wars because we're starting to poke our nose into other people's backyards, as it were. So we have to be very careful here. So we're taking out the pirates. That, of course, will set us well against all the other nations, because of course they too are at war with the pirates. Whoever disposes of the pirates will be put in their good graces, should we say. So that really does put us on a good footing in terms of what we're doing here. Now we're attacking Punda. However, Punda is the last bastion here of the pirates here anywhere in the world. Now if we can take out this base here, it gives us two options. First of all, it gives us the facilities and also the massive amounts here of resources available here. As you can see, they've already got a sugar factory sort of working up here. And I believe there's also possibility of building another village or maybe another building here, an economic building here, but also gives us the port here as well, and additional income as well from trade. Now that is key. As you can see here up on the distance here, this green line here, that is the line that of trade moving into the Russian Empire from the New World, our first sort of step into here. Now we do have ourselves anchored quite firmly here, sort of in the east, in the furthest eastern reaches here of the New World, in sort of the Caribbean here. That's the first step we're going to take. The second step is then to start to build up our forces here within the Caribbean, starting to build them upon these islands, starting to sort of move more forces into the region with the aim of striking against potentially even Britain. Potentially even Britain striking against Britain, maybe even the sort of the lands that have been taken over by the sort of the independent states, as it were, that have sort of arisen from France's collapse. So again, we have a lot to do here. This is the first stepping stone. We're not going to rush anything here. Remember, we have got a massive military build-up in the Middle East here, because remember, the Council has deemed it that we must take Persia out. Persia must be dealt with before we can do anything else, particularly moving into the subcontinent in India. There's a massive amount for us to do here, and the first thing we have to do focus here is focus on taking and ridding ourselves of this pirate force, a formidable force, because it has 8 artillery pieces here, 8 potential fire support here. It is absolutely massive. Now the thing that we have to counteract that though is the cuirassiers here. Look at that, we have 4 cuirassiers. Of course we've got the general as well, but we've got 4 cavalry regiments here. Their sole purpose will be to find and destroy these artillery pieces, because they will absolutely cut us to pieces. But we are defending against this onslaught here from the pirates. We mustn't sort of consider ourselves this battle already over here. To do so would be to sort of really possibly denigrate what we could possibly do here. We mustn't become complacent, because that could possibly lead to disaster. We're not in it for that, my friends. We're in it to take Punda, bring this region under our control, replenish and repair the losses we could obviously suffer here, because with these artillery pieces alone we're going to suffer. And of course they've got 3 8-inch mortar batteries as well, which is absolutely going to cut us to pieces if we're not careful. So we have to be wary here, but also vigilant to be able to take, if any opportunities arise in the battle, we have to take out these pirates as quickly and efficiently as possible. If we can't do that, then we are fully prepared to stand our ground and slug it out with them toe to toe, excuse me, my friends. Toe to toe. So again, we are going to take this. Let's take this fight, my friends. The Battle of Punda. As I was saying here, where this is just the slow creep here of Russian influence moving into the Caribbean, and then slowly but surely moving and seeping into other parts of the New World here. a little bit at a time, nothing too risky, nothing too sort of bold, should we say, that would sort of sets the alarm bells ringing off elsewhere. But again, we must again be prepared to push in a number of forces here into the Caribbean. It is our next foray, sir. Excuse me, my friends, we'll have a sip of a cup of tea, a beverage, before we begin this battle. Now, as you can see, we've already cut the road here, so again we control the road here. There's our battery there, there's our own artillery. Now, as you can see, there's a man out there's the fort, so they're going to sally forth from the fort here, but we could use this forested area here to hide a number of our troops in and surprise them, leaving a few as, dare I say, target practice. That would be unfair to say, but as, shall we say, something from the target upon whilst the rest hide in here. I think we will do is we'll definitely put our artillery within here. Remember, they've got to come to us. Oh, look at that, sir. Now, the demarcation line here is pretty short. The no man's land here is very, very small indeed. But they do have a sizable deployment zone. But they don't have a maximum, you know, a massive defensive fort here. This is the standard defensive fort. They don't have all the added defensive measures here that usually extend way out past the fort here. They don't have that available to them. As you can see, we've got a cuirassiers here, which we're going to make use of if possible. But again, we want to try and keep some of these forces to one side so we can strike. It's a shame we haven't got, but we probably could hide the cavalry in here. It looks like this, yes indeed. No, we cannot hide them in here. Quite clearly this is not dense enough here to hide them, so we've got to try and be careful we don't lose troops unnecessarily here. We're not in it here for that. We're in this to take this, strike as fast as we can, and then move on to our next. Let's just put the general here. General DJP here, General Death. Now we've got the Albanian warband here. As you can see, some of these have already been involved in a number of fracases. I think we'll have this regiment here that's actually going to set the vanguard of the defence here. We shall set them hither, and the beauty of this is the Russian line infantry has a huge amount here, 338 men. Now we're not going to get against any horse here, so we're going to go fully for trenches. Oh, look at that, sir. Look at that gleaming in the sort of in the Caribbean sunlight here. That is a very hot day here, sir. Very hot indeed. As you can see, the sort of the haze, the heat haze there in the distance. We have this regiment here. Again, can we try and keep? Look at this. The formations here, the rock formations here, are going to give us a little few problems, but still, we'll have to put a regiment. We want our finest regiments to really be the vanguard of the defence here. Now, can we put these gentlemen here? We can indeed. We might even set our own path here and actually strike against the pirates on a particular flank. We have enough forces here to do so. We'll actually put this regiment here on the left. Keeping tight formations here. We've got this warband, which, as you can see, has already moved into a hidden status here. And so is this regiment here. But again, we don't want to risk any losses if we can help it. We're going to put the warband in here. We'll put them on this here. They could be our sort of forward guard. But look at that. What an absolute wonder to see here. The Albanian Arnavultar band. Wonderful, sir. I bet they never expected to be fighting in the Caribbean. Now, again, we'll protect the right flank here. We have the cavalry with 2 regiments of cuirassiers on the right. Again, they should be used where appropriate. We should have, yes indeed, 2 other cuirassiers. But look at the size here of our deployment zone. It is vast, sir. It stretches massively here. It actually goes past the deployment zone of the pirates by quite a significant margin. So again, we are fortunate in terms of our deployment zone. This not so. This is probably more in line with where the pirates end, but on the left flank we have huge amounts of space. So I think we might use that to our advantage. We'll put another 139th Regiment here. Gentlemen, Thank you. It's a little bit too close there, but I think we'll hold one regiment in reserve. Actually, we'll put one more regiment on the left. I've got a feeling the left flank's going to be hit pretty hard. A lot of them are medium, but we're going to actually have these 3 regiments here. They're going to assault the garrison. Or assault the fort, shall we say. The cuirassiers, 39th and 45th Horse Guards. We'll actually set them back here, again on defensive formation. Oh, look at that. It is an absolute joy to see. Wonderful, sir. Now, we can begin. Let's begin, my friends, this battle here. Now, the pirates, as you can see, are immured here. I think we might cut them. Ah! If you are going to show your artillery. Oh, what a oh, my compliments to the chef, sir. I think we'll hit this artillery immediately, and we're going to. What do we have here? Oh, 8-inch mortars. There they are. Primed for the taking here, sir. Buccaneers, so quite clearly there, but they should have. Oh, look at that! These 8-inch mortars are an absolute menace, sir. Oh, this is wonderful firing. Show them what we're made of. Look at this. Russian cuirassiers. Pirate mob. And we can't get too close because those mortars will absolutely butcher us. Point in case there. Move if you would, please, gentlemen. Thank you. Let's set ourselves ready here to take advantage of anything coming this way. Look at that. I should pull these gentlemen, I think probably to the right flank here then. That was an error on my part, and my part alone. I must take full... Oh, we're taking casualties here, sir. Let's deal with them. We've come to fire from these regiments' artillery in here, but still. Oh, look at this. They're quite clearly not going to do anything here. Can we instigate an attack here by the pirates? They're quite clearly trying to gather their senses here for some reason, but we might be able to push them into... Oh, look, we've lost men here because of these blasted 8-inch mortars. Steady now. Oh, look at this. Fearless, sir, fearless. Have at you, sir, have at you. Look at that, straight into the teeth there of the gunfire. Oh, bravery personified, sir. If they want to fight, then we'll oblige. coming from the mortars there. I think we might make use of that. Oh, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt. Oh my goodness me, that hurt. Good grief, that was brutal. And that is why we despise the mortars. Look at that, those men have fallen there, sir. Look at that, we lost a huge swathe there of men because of those fiends. We are going to attack these, we need to get rid of these mortars. Of course they're losing slightly, sir. Come on, lads. Put an end to them. They're shattered. Get out to fire. Get out of the firing range. You've done your job. I've got to deal with those. What the blazes? Show no mercy, lads. Show no mercy. Look at that, they're losing it absolutely. So what we have to do, we have to get down and dirty here. We can't, not everything's going to be a clean fight. Sometimes you just got to get stuck in there, sir. Sometimes you just got to get stuck in there. Can we assault these brigades here, these walls here? Do need to do that. I think we do need to assault these walls, but they've got a lot of militia moving in. And I have no idea why these have left the walls here, but still, since they are here, let's make the most of them. Come on, lads, put an end to this now. Now we bring the full firepower here, sir, the Russian army. Oh, look at that, they've already broken. They've already broken this pirate mob by the war band. Wonderful. If you would please, gentlemen. We're going to roll this left flank up here beautifully. Look at that, sir. Let's try and force them into a particular... Of course they're wavering. They've gone smashed, sir. Might just pull. Now, if we can assault, can we assault now? Oh, they've still come around here. They're not done yet. Oh, look at that. Absolutely blitzed. The pirate legion should be no more. Excuse the noise in the background, my friends. You can probably guess who that might be. We're trying to hold this line here if possible. Let's move up here. Let's try and capture them as much as we can here. Oh, good grief. They broke very quickly there from that pirate mob. Here we go. Here we go. Excuse me, the noise in the back of my fence because Max is particularly aggrieved tonight. Fart. Get in there, lads. Fire. Show these pirates good grief. Exactly what we wanted. Exactly what we wanted here. Let's move up. Let us wait no longer. Let us wait no longer, sir. Even in the face of these attacks here. That's an absolute joy to see. Look at that, sir. We've butchered these front lines here, even though we're taking fire here. Actually, what we'll do is we'll move in. They can't be firing at everything at once. Thus, we should begin. It's time we took this fight here, sir. Oh, what a shot. My compliments to the chef, sir. My compliments to the chef. Look at that. Oh my goodness me. We took an absolute pounding there. Come on, lads. Fire up. We're going to roll them up from every single point we possibly can here now. We shall not allow them, sir, to get away with this. They've opened the gates up here. They've opened the gates. Come on, lads, get in there. Oh, yes, we're in. They've left the gates open. They've left the gates open, sir. Oh, it's a bloodbath. Ceasefire. Come on, gentlemen. Oh, they've been cut off. And now it has become a rout, sir. Ah, we appear to have the general trying to make a bold dash. Those mortars have done a huge amount of damage to us, much more than we normally would have taken. Take care of the fire. Oh, look at that. Completely cleared the lines here. Come on, get rid of this artillery here. This has been an absolute bane of ours, this artillery, it really has. Oh, shattered, shattered. Complete collapses have ensued. We shall cease fire. Oh, what an absolute joy to see, sir. And who else remains here to defy Russia's will, sir? No one. Heroic victory, of course, and now Punda falls upon, under, should I say, Russian control. Look at that. 2,808 lost, 611 lost. Oh, that's statistics here. Look at that. Land infantry done a wonderful. The cuirassiers as well fought valiantly here, sir. The Anvaltar warband fought valiantly there. An absolute joy to see, sir. Thank you. Now that was a wonder to see. It really was. We just captured. We've got Punda at last. Punda is now under our full control here. Let's immediately bring things. Yeah, 1,233. Excellent. We shall. Now, is that damaged? Not damaged at all here. And we have now opened another trade line. 3,840 coming from Punda. Wow. We've also got here a wonderful fleet here, which we are going to repair. It has fought valiantly. 474 here. That's excellent here. As you can see, we've captured now all pirate strongholds are now under Russian control. We've also brought in a number of, look at that, steamships as well. We really have brought in a significant military presence here within the Caribbean. As you can see here, we're trying to leave this army. Leave these musketeers, African musketeers here, and try and free up these armies here. Each of these has got a sort of a token force here left to defend it. So we've been able to free up these armies here. As you can see, Spain still controls South America, but look at Britain. I mean, Britain is absolutely rampant here. I mean, look at this. It controls all of North America and Canada. It is also now beginning to creep into Texas as well, and also pushing down into South America. It's taken Mexico. So again, Britain is a powerhouse here. We've got Sweden, we're allied here. They've got Cuba, but still, we've got our own presence. We've also managed to capture here a Dutch Guiana and French Guiana, which are bringing in significant, nearly 6,000 here of gold coming in from here. We then have 10,000 going in from these two regions now into the main coffers here. 39,000. Look at the upkeep of our armies. 211,000 gold here. It is quite staggering here. But we've now managed to take this region as well, which is excellent. We've got Kralendyke, is it? How long till that is 34 turns? That's a huge way off yet, but still. We've brought that under control. Our expansion as the council is deemed fit. Now the council has asked us to make strides within the New World here. And we have captured now the sort of eastern part of the Caribbean is now under our control. We are upgrading everything we possibly can, or everything has been upgraded as best we can at the moment. There's another, yes, more upgrading going here. Here is fully upgraded. Here can be as well, so we'll get a commercial base in here. We need to throw a lot of money, a lot of weight behind these regions here to make sure that we get the best out of them we can. Now, the pirates have been destroyed, which is excellent. As you can see, we're now really starting to pull a lot of weight here behind. We're trying to build our fleets. Our fleets aren't the best. We have to admit. There's no point in trying to sugarcoat it, my friends. Our fleets are not the finest. We're going to combine this here. Gentlemen, thank you. Now, global trading company here. Now, we're not going to get anything from here. We don't have any direct routes here, nor here. Our main one here is from Odessa, feeding outwards. As you can see, we are putting together here a number of forces here, which are going to be used to actually move into the New World proper. So these forces here are actually being designated for movement to the New World. Look at that, what a force this is. And it's also got the 64-pounder of the Tsar gun, the great cannon here. And the council did recommend that we put together a strike force here. This force specifically designated to move into the Caribbean, into the New World. We are looking to establish quite a foothold here. Now, as you can see, Prussia is vast, and you think, well, it's not really that powerful, man. It's in a very, very, constrained environment, but that is a powerhouse of a nation. It really is. That empire is vast, and because it is such a compact area, they have their troops at easy disposal. They can quite quickly move troops from north to south very, very quickly, and that's what we have to be careful of. We don't overextend ourselves here, or at least we're prepared. As you can see, we've got this great swathe here of army groups here waiting to spill over the border should things become a little bit difficult for us in that respect. We've got a lot of upgrading to do here, but it's not really going to bring in much else. We don't have direct lines here. We will eventually upgrade all of these, but as you can see here, my friends, we have focused a lot of our military strength down here against the Persians, because the Persians attacked us, and they moved, and they actually breached the very outer defences here of the Moscow defences, and for a moment there was a little bit of panic that sort of crept in, but they might even attack Moscow, which wasn't defended, but we managed to push them back. They took Tataria, they took the Don, they took Astrakhan as well, so we had to fight under a huge amount of duress to try and retake this from them. And then they wanted peace from us once we'd sort of pushed them back across the border. And we also got a trade deal with them. And then the council said, no matter, we cannot allow the Persians to sort of have peace, then have a trade deal, and have a pat on the back and say, well done, you've fought a war with us, and you're going to get the spoils from these wars. We cannot, the council have spoken and said that you cannot allow them to get away with that. And thus the council has recommended that we move onto a war footing here. Now, as you can see, if we attack the Persians, we have to be careful here, because they still have a significant amount of forces within this area. Now, they don't have the quantity, but they don't have the quality, I beg your pardon, that we have. We have the quality and depth here, but they do have the quantity of troops. But as you can see, we've amassed a massive amount of forces here on the Armenian border. But our problem is this: it is supply. Now, the front villages have been cleared of all civilians here on the front line. And also all civilian traffic has been banned apart from essential trade, because remember, we want to keep the illusion that we're still trading with the Persians. But also all roads leading from Baghdad to the front have been closed to only military personnel. Only personnel and movement and trade and goods and sort of munitions and food and troops are allowed to use these roads. In the eastern part here, all the villages of the Kut here and Arifa have been completely cleared of any civilians, and likewise here in Armenia, most of the Armenian front line sort of villages that would be in the front line have been cleared. All the roads leading into Armenia are only available to the military personnel, because we have to go into a war footing here, but we have to, this is an illusion, my friends, we have to sort of give to the Persians. You can see they've got Persia moving sort of trade down here. We're going to keep the trade moving in to give that illusion, that mirage, that things are absolutely fine here, when in fact we're putting ourselves ready here to do what we need to do. As you can see, they've got an army already in the port here, but we have sealed off this. We've sealed off the Black Sea here completely with this particular battle group here, and we are beginning to really sort of try and push out as many troops as we can here. Now, this force here is for the New World. We're going to begin to move them down into Greece, which is going to be the staging point for that. Oh, look at that! Oh, what a wonder here. An absolute wonder. Oh, So, I think we could probably, we've got enough here, we probably need a, look at this. We don't have any general here yet, so we'll create a general here. We get 2 more regiments in here. I think we'll have Tsar, Russian Tsar guards. Look at that. They actually guard the royal family, so we move them into position, and they shall then again move down here towards Greece. They're being moved into the New World. We're starting to build up a massive military force here in the New World. It'll take time, but mark my words, my friends, we will get there. We're also going to send these gentlemen into the New World because we need to scout out what Britain is doing. How it's going to perform. We need to keep an eye on what's going on there in Britain, in the New World, because they are a powerhouse there. They really are. Now, what's the relationship between Prussia and Persia? Now, Persia are actually allies of Prussia, and that's why we have to make sure that we have enough forces to guard our borders here, because if Prussia might actually join the war once we launch the attack against the Persians, Prussia might actually join that war against us. So we have to be absolutely ready here to repel anything that they have against us. We do have a significant force here, but we need to build this force up here as well. So we're going to continue to recruit sharpshooters. I think we'll have some sharpshooters, more line infantry, cuirassiers. We do have a large selection here, which is excellent to see. Have some 24 pounders. Now, excellent. So we've got more troops here as well. Look at that, sir. Remember, we're building up a massive force here because look at this. They've already moved in a massive cavalry army here, right on the border here. Narva is really quite close to St. Petersburg here. Why have they moved those forces here? Exactly, my friends. Why have they moved them here? We've already got Marines being recruited here. What does this army need? We need to make sure we've got a very substantial... We've got enough guns here. We need cavalry. Let's get ourselves some cavalry here. We're not going to be caught on the hop at all. As you can see, we've got Denmark. We're at peace with Denmark here. We've got an ally here in Sweden who have been staunch allies of ours. Actually, they're allies with Denmark as well, which is good to see. They're at war with Persia as well. And nice to St. John, trade partners of Prussia, but they might not join the war with us. That's why we have to be prepared here. Fully prepared. Oh, look at that. Let's get that upgraded here. We need all the money we can get here. All these are almost upgraded here. Remember, this Baghdad is our main sort of production center with it, or the front line here with Persia. And then the distance between our next major one, which is Damascus here in Syria, is hundreds and hundreds of miles, and that's the problem we have. We don't have any major production centers along the Persian border here. So in other words, the troops, we have to travel massive distance here to get anywhere, and that's why we have to try and put as many forces into place as quickly as we can to make sure that when we strike with everything we've got, because reinforcing these forces will be very difficult. To that end, we actually need to probably put a force here to try and head for Azerbaijan, because again, that's got quite a lot of forces here. But they have been facing a number of rebellions here in Isfahan, a number of rebellions here, which we've not helped with, let's be honest. But I think we might actually move these gentlemen up to the border here. We've got enough, that's more than enough to hold. I wonder if we were to build ourselves a wall here. I think we might do that, because Baghdad is so important to us. If this fails as attack, and there's a chance that it might, we mustn't be overconfident here. We need to be able to fall back on some rigid defences. We've got these gentlemen here as well. Get ourselves a general, and we shall recruit additional forces. What do we lack here in this army? We've got cuirassiers. I think we have one more cuirassier. And guns. Again, the council recommended we mix our artillery support up. We also do need to really need to put a lot of more naval forces into the theatre. We're not sure what that, because of course it has decided not to show us. They do have a significant amount of forces. Now, not as I said, not the quality, but the quantity they can put into the field is quite extraordinary. But that's why we need to really push ourselves here. Now, these gentlemen, oh, look at that! Don Cossack Cavalry. Ural. Russian Ural Cossacks. Lancer Cavalry. Sharpshooters. I think we move them to the Don here. The Don force here is going to have to strike down here and try and clear these here. We've got an army group, 2 army groups nearly here. We've got more than enough troops here to break these, gentlemen. And actually, we might send these. I think we'll send these gentlemen to here, actually. Let's build up this force here. What is Moscow doing? Moscow is finally at rest because it took a while for us to get Moscow under control. Look at the forces we've got available to us in Moscow. It is huge. Whoa, wait a minute. Russian Streltsy Musketeers. Interesting. Puckle gun. A number of the council have asked for puckle guns as well to be included. They are hitting us here with religious unrest. Religious happiness here, but still. Entertainment is keeping everybody happy, which is absolutely fine. We've got the borders here well and truly covered. As you can see, we've actually moved almost an army group, but not quite an army group in here. We need to solidify our hold here. I think we'll combine these 2 armies here. We'll put a general in here as well. It looks a little bit topsy-turvy, this. We do need more infantry, without a shadow of a doubt. We need probably 2 armies in here, because the Prussians do have access to a huge swathe of troops. And they've also pushed a significant amount of forces along into Riga. They do rely on cavalry quite extensively. A lot of artillery here, but their artillery isn't up to spec like ours is. We do have, look at that, look at the money coming in here. 60,000. Britain has 77,000. Prussia 65,000. The Mughal Empire 40,000. As you can see, the trade moving in and out from St. Petersburg is absolutely essential to our sort of economic survival. It really is. Now the Mug House, but Britain has even got its claws into here. Now there's rebels here in Ceylon, which we could actually make use of here. We do have a significant investment in the Mughal Empire, but if we could take, are they allies here with the Persians? Indeed they are. And so when we attack them, it looks like the Mughals might even join the war. So again, we have to be braced here for the political ramifications of what we're about to do here with the Persians. But the council has deemed this what we need to do, and thus we shall do it, sir. That's why the council has sort of recommended we expand into the New World and start putting significant forces and significant investment into the New World. We're going to increase our military footprint here. We're allied with Spain as well. We're allied with Spain because of Prussia's aggression towards it. Now Spain can hold its own. It still controls great swathes here of the Mediterranean, and it still holds Madrid. It's got a significant military presence here in Madrid. Some wonderful troops at its disposal. Now, did I just notice we have Newfoundland as well. We have Newfoundland. Look at that. Now we wouldn't mind to take Agvatuk here and deal with the Inuits. I wonder. Let's quickly cast an eye across here. Significant forces here. But if we could take Agvatuk, would that open up a potential port for us later? Would Katukuto would actually be a port eventually. They're not growing at all. They've got no growth here at all, but if we were to get hold of it, there would be growth. It would give us another foothold here. It would clear this eastern flank here of all potential enemy forces at least, and give us a foothold in this northern part of the continent as well. But look at Britain. I mean, the investment we'd have to put into here, the military investment you have to put into here would be staggering to be able to sort of really take Britain apart here. The investment would have to be monumental. Do we have that military strength? Because we're pretty much stretched across 3 continents here. That could prove our undoing if we're not careful. Persia is definitely first on our hit list here. And if we can take Persia, the additional resources from Persia would definitely be a huge benefit to us. But we're going to probably drag in the Mughals into a war with us as well. But that is what we have to accept here if we're going to do this. We're going to make enemies. We just got to accept that's what's going to happen. Okay, let's end the turn here, my friends, and let's see what happens here. Britain, Spain, who are still a force to be reckoned with, as you can see here. Now they're at war with Prussia, but they're not really doing anything in terms of moving a great deal of forces up to try and deal with it. But again, we might be missing something here. We can't really see everything that's going on here. Now they're moving forces in. Are they going to strike against Munich, perchance? And again, we're not going to do anything to stop that. We're not going to take sides. We're allied with Spain, but we're not going to take sides here. Prussia, which does have significant resources. Significant resources. So there's going to be a lot of... Sweden. Excellent to see them once again on the move. They have been staunch allies, staunch supporters. It helped us in many a war. But what are they going to do? Are they going to throw their entire weight behind some... Yes, indeed they are. Sweden. Sweden, don't do it. Sweden, do not do it. Sweden, don't do it. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. I don't believe it. Are Sweden actually going to try and are going to take those off us by force? Are they going to take those off us by force? No, surely not. If they backstab us, we will come down on them like an absolute ton of bricks, sir. And where are those? Do they have other forces elsewhere here? Because we move against them, that will be... If we get caught then on the hop... Karelia. I think it's probably going to be best for us to move. Why are they here? Why is that force here? What have they got? Well, we're going to move an army into position here. We're not, and I repeat, not going to be caught on the hop. Not a chance. Absolutely not a chance. They want to try and take Karelia off us. Actually, we'll move these into Karelia. And I also want... What they else wanted? I wanted Karelia. No chance. They are not... I cannot believe they would backstab us like that. Surely not. After all we've been through. Plus 230, and they're going to try and land troops here and take it off us. That means war with Sweden then, which means we have to significantly increase our investment here in troops. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. As they say, my friends, you learn something new every single day, and we've just learned not to trust anyone at all. Now, we've got these forces here which are going to move into this army here. If they want the fight, then we shall oblige. But we have to be very wary here because we've got Prussia here as well. We've still got a significant naval presence here which will deal with these. Then we'd have to seal off all of their ports, which also means investing in additional naval resources here. Which we don't have. Actually, what do we have here? Actually, we do. We have a steam dry dock. So, we're going to begin to recruit steamship, additional naval resources here in the Baltic Sea. If we're going to go to war with Sweden, And then it looks like we're going to have to dig ourselves into this. And actually, we could actually use these forces then to attack Sweden. If that's the way they wish to go. If that is the way they wish to go. Then we'll oblige. We've invested a huge amount there in that infrastructure there. This is going to be very difficult for us here because an ally is possibly going to attack us here. A long-standing ally because they want a piece of land from us. Which means we're going to have to divert these forces here, which we're aiming for the Caribbean. They're going to be sent then around all the way, huge distance, all the way around here, right the way into the Baltic. We will actually attack. We'll have to probably see what's in Copenhagen here. Do we have any? Let's have a look here at agents. What agents do we have? Anywhere? Anyone in? Perfect. We'll actually send this gentleman to Copenhagen. If that's the fight they want, a fight they will receive. Good grief, just proves to show how many forces the Prussians have here. That is a considerable presence here. We have a mine here, all these mines all the way here, right to here. Vorarlberg here, right here is within stone's throw here of Ulm and Munich. So we have to be very careful. The first thing they would strike is all these here. We've got to make sure we're strong on every single sector here of our front. It's going to be a stretch, but we've just got to make it happen. I'm going to start rejigging some of these forces here, just to make sure we've got everything covered. I think that's all we can do in this particular point. Luckily we've got a lot of depth and breadth within our empire. Doesn't make it any easier though. Army Staff College almost here. And our growth here is down. Why is this down here? Minus food shortages, of course, because the army is taking so much food to feed. We're actually starting now to see the pinch here. We must forget this cloth powered mill here. We've got to upgrade that as well when we can. Arixa. Now that's brought religion back up, hopefully back up to where it should be. Has it counteracted this here? Indeed it has. It's counteracted the imam here. Let's end the turn, my friends. Let's begin and see what happens here. This will probably be the last turn, my friends, of this particular episode. But we are once again revisit the Russian campaign. Then it will probably be the United St. John, and then it will be Spain, then it will be the Ottoman campaign then, my friends. I really wish that the Spanish would do something against the Prussians, because it would help us no end if they did that. It would help us no end. But look at the sheer magnitude of the number of the naval forces they have here up in there. Up in the English Channel almost there. On the Baltic, the Baltic Sea, the English Channel, the Atlantic. Prussians do have a scary amount of forces available to them. And we never cower from any challenge. We've never backed up from any challenge, my friends. The council has always stepped up to the plate at every single time. We wouldn't back down from this. But that doesn't mean we underestimate our enemy. It doesn't mean we just sort of cast them aside with a swift wave of the hand here. We would be up against a significant amount of forces here. Sweden, if you dare to come after us now, why are you doing this, Sweden? Why? They're not doing anything here. Oh, we're just going to keep a close eye on Sweden there. I think we might have to move a fleet into... We've got Now that's right, and the council also recommended we attack or move a fleet and forces in from the subcontinent as well. As you can see, the Persians are moving a lot of forces around here. The Inuits must have significant forces tucked away elsewhere we can't see. Let us quickly just check that there. Look at that there. Why have they got so many forces here? We need to probably move a naval force into here to try and deal with this. A significant force here, because look at that, they've still got rebels. They've still got rebellions going on here. -2 to morale in battle, sir. Excellent. 40,000 here now. So we are. Let's complete this army. Now we've got. We probably need. And we know we need. That's a complete army. We shall use this one as the basis of a brand new army here. We're not going to be pushed aside here. I can assure you. Sweden will not be allowed to just walk into this. They've moved up those forces there with grenadiers and lifeguards at their disposal as well. Interesting. Now we'll move these gentlemen into Sweden, ready, or into Patras. Let's join this here. We'll put these gentlemen to some kind of use here. So we just can't have them loitering around here. Everybody must have their role. Everybody must have their purpose here. Every single person. Every single soldier. Every single civilian must have their... Must be a bent. Look at that. What a force that is. But again, the span. Look at that. We do have a significant force guarding the Gibraltar Straits here. Do upgrade all of these. I don't... Let's have a look at... There. Water-powered cloth mill. And what else have we... we have engineering school here. Infrastructure is up to scratch here. Finally brought this under control here. A global trading company here. Let's see if we can get that. We need additional, a significant number of ships. Additional forces here. And again, we've got a lot of forces here in Austria. Excellent. But what do we do here, my friends? Is the Council's advice now, do these forces get sent to the New World, where we're going to start to have a significant military presence? Or do we move them towards where Sweden could possibly move against us here? Now they can only really attack us in St. Petersburg here, and St. Petersburg is well equipped to deal with anything here from the Swedes. We do have how many forces? We've got the additional forces being moved in here, naval forces at least. Mesopotamia, of course, we've got these gentlemen as well. We need now line infantry. Excellent. We've got another army here, which will probably have to move to the border here. We're going to try and strike for Azerbaijan when the time comes. We've got a significant look at them moving their forces towards the border here, towards Tbilisi. We need to really push. We'll have to push hard here. We'd have to have this army here dealing with this particular army, and whilst that was being pinned down by these, we'd have to move these forces quickly into position. Now we have to definitely get more forces from Moscow, if we can, and move them down in here, because we need a full army group here to deal with these forces. So if we can make this a full army group here, a full army, this will give us an army group plus this army here to deal with this army, then we can push down towards Chechnya, and then these gentlemen push towards Georgia, and then we'd have these gentlemen from the Don. Look at that, -1 growth here. Food shortages are absolutely rampant here. I think we might convert some of these here. I think I might convert some of these to to fishing, to fisheries and major fisheries here to try and increase population growth, but also help with the food shortages as well. Because the sheer amount of people we've got to feed is putting a strain on our infrastructure and our resources, and the armies we've got to feed as well are just vast. But if we could take Georgia, and we could take Chechnya and Azerbaijan and Esfahan all in one go, that would be a wonder to see. It really, really would, my friends. But they're still dealing with a rebellion here as well, Persian rebels, which is good to see. But if the Mughals join the fight, that's going to be an absolutely terrific fight. It really is. We don't. Now like that, we can probably get the cloth powered mill there in Mosul. That's fine. We've moved this army up here, which can probably strike for Azerbaijan. But if we can move this army in with it, that would give us a very powerful strike force there. We could aim straight across. Maybe hit Tabriz on the way, or Tabriz on the way. But that's the fight we're going to take, my friends, very, very soon. The Persian sort of offensive or theatre operation is very, very close to being implemented here. It's particularly here Esfahan, which doesn't have a great deal of defenders. It does have improved settlement fortifications and a very stout here, especially Ahadis here, which are really, really excellent cavalry. But I think we can deal with these forces. I'm not going to say easily, because that would be overconfident, but they also have these forces here ready to strike against Baghdad. That's what we're building this wall here. Settlement fortifications to make sure we've got everything we can to defend our major sort of stronghold here. Look at that. Food shortages are absolutely crippling us here. It really is. We need to get some of these fisheries on tap here. Look, we've got a fishery here in Sinop. Trying to help boost some of our growth here. But my friends, I'm going to end this episode here. I hope you've enjoyed it. And as always, my friends, please keep your comments coming down below. The council's comments are absolutely essential to everything that we do in this campaign and all the others. And the only reason we are where we are now within this campaign, the reason the Empire is so vast, our military is so rampant, and our economy is sort of absolutely at full capacity here, is because of the council's advice. You mould, you shape everything that we do here. Everything you do here has the touch of the council upon it, and that is why things are going so well for us at the moment. Touch wood, my friends, it really is going absolutely wonderful for us here. So in mind, please keep your comments coming down below, my friends, and try to look at where we should start shaping our strategy. Should we start moving more of our resources to the New World? Remember the size of Britain. Britain here is just a single island here, but in the New World it is vast, and for us to be able to attempt to tackle this would require us to invest significant forces, and we only have a small amount of land here in the Caribbean, and we would have to invest significant forces, not only sort of land forces but also naval forces, and we don't quite have those in place yet. But we could start siphoning them in bit by bit, but that would take a number of years for us to get to that point. But if that's what the council wishes and deems, then we shall do that, my friends. Now Agvatuk here is, where are they? Look at that, I thought so. They've got additional forces being moved to one side here, just in case. If that was attacked, these would be pulled into the fight. We probably have to send in at least 2 armies into there, because as many of you know, the native Indians are some of the finest fighters in the world, bar none. But my friends, I leave you with that question hanging in the air. What do we do next? Your comments will and always will be absolutely key to every campaign. This one in particular, my friends, because we're at a crossroads now. Russia is at a crossroads, and what we do here will define our future. With 38,000 coming in here, we're starting to build up our tax income here. Trade is starting to build as well. 218,000 their army upkeep, which is quite extraordinary. We've almost got, is that 1 billion? 1 billion nearly. We've got 1 billion people in our empire here nearly. Good grief. That is absolutely incredible. That's our ministers doing here. Wonderful ministers. We've got absolute monarchy. Popularity is riding quite high. But my friends, I hope you're having a wonderful week thus far. Whatever you're doing, please be safe, my friends. And until next time, bye for now.